Good evening. In a quick way, nsaba okubebaza okubanga mwe muli olwaleero. I know it's Jemuli in Kampala, it's evening. In London, it's also evening. In Europe, I think Europe is 1 hour behind during the summer. So United States, in most parts, is still, I think, either early afternoon, depending on where you are, or early morning, depending where you are. But ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you very much. Those that agree with me, even those that do not agree with me. Mwena mbagala nnyo because you make this platform a wonderful platform for our discussions. Because we discuss out of respect and out of comradeship. So nsaba okusooka okubeebaza okubeera nga eva tuba tukolaganira wamu n'okubeera nga tuteesa ensonga zino nga tuziteeseza wamu. So thank you very much. That is how much respect that I have for you people who join me. I know there are very many people wano abebitiibwa ebyenjawulo abakola businesses ez'enjawulo abakola ebyobufuzi ebyenjawulo. I really respect you. I love you wherever you are. There are Ugandans from all areas. Abali mu Middle East, abali mu Europe, abali mu South America, abali mu North Africa, abali mu United States of Africa, of America, abali Canada, abali mu South Africa. Yes, Elijah Kalisa, my friend. How are you? How is New York? On the very unfortunate bit, Governor Como, yannomye nnyo okubeera nga ya resigning. But that's life. That is part of life. That is part of leadership. And that is part of politics. So, Caroline Munwera Okware, I want those curtains behind. Ladies and gentlemen, olwaleero abantu abamu mikwano gyange bavuddeyo nga nkoze post eri wonderful and amazing. But kambabulireyo ebintu bisatu nga sinagenda kwogera ku nsonga y'aba refugees ebibaddewo mu Uganda. Today in the Uganda's parliament, tubadde paying a tribute to our athletes aba participating mu Olympics. Joshua Chiptegei, Balibo Naba, Chelimo and others. Netusalawo fenna unanimously that as Parliament of Uganda, twandibadde tuleeta etteeka okulaba ba athletes ne former athletes nga tubalwanako babeere nga basasulwa. Amongst those kubaddeko Davis Kamoga abali mu United States mwali mumanyiiko. Yasooka tuwangulira bronze ngadduka emisinde. I think it was in Atlanta. Naye tutegezeddwako nti naye mulwadde nnyo. So we want to put there a framework. Abantu bano we tusobola okubayamba ab'emizannyo ne bawangula. Wali wangambye Honorable Express yawangudde. Express FC mukwano gw'abangi mukulikeyo mu mpaka za Sekafa. You did us proud. As Ugandans, we are proud of you. Kakati, ebyo byonna tubimaze. All said and done. The other thing I think ekindi ku mutima chenjagala okubagamba that is really riling mwena abali eyo is the issue ey'aba refugees. You also what happened in Afghanistan. It was appalling. It was actually appalling. Buli omu ng'alaba abantu babuyana. Naye nze nyina lessons esatu ze nayizeemu. Ekisooka, no foreign power is going to help anyone fight their battles. They can only help you and aid you, but they can't help you for so long. Nalabye President Biden ng'azze okwogera ku nsonga ya withdrawal from Iraq. Nenzijukira mu 2001 how the whole world demonized the Taliban. Buli omu ng'agamba Talibani, they are terrorists, this and this. But at the end of the day, the Talibans have proved the whole world, and with their patience and resilience, no one can beat them. They have become the graveyard of all empires in the world. So I think there are two lessons to learn. That teri agenda kuva bweru akuyambe okwerwanirira akuwa obuwanguzi atakuumire ground yo. It is very impossible. So that has been proven that 20 years later, the Taliban bakomyewo ne batwala obukulembeze bwabwe. But one question to ask. America are training 300,000 soldiers. If these people didn't really agree with the Taliban, Why didn't they stand up to fight? Abasajja bano balazeewa. The 300,000 people that Americans trained, where did they fizzle away? For me, people can blame Joe Biden and this, that the troop withdrawal was early. Yes, everyone can make mistakes at that point of leadership. No one could foresee this. But who exactly can tell us where the Afghan army got lost? That yali tesobola holding up fight for even a single province. In that, in 1 month after the withdrawal of the Americans, the other guys just overran them. 30,000 people of the Taliban troops overran 300,000 Afghan soldiers. That means the Afghan soldiers were never committed. And I remember when the Taliban were leaving in 2001, bagamba abantu bano nti mututimonaizinze mutuvumi. You can hold the clock, but we own the time. You can have the clock on your wrists, but time is on our side. So, bana abantu, they patiently maneuvered. They patiently fought back. They patiently regrouped, and they made sure they did their things without being seen. For me, that's something that the whole world is going to use as a case study. Now, the biggest question is going to be one. And for me, I think this is a very big question in international history and diplomacy. Ani agenda okuholdinganga abatalibani accountable to the actions that they are going to commit? That is a big question, because they have successfully shown by defeating Russia in the 80s. The Russians warned NATO. Putin yabagamba nti mugenda mu Afghanistan, but I'm very sure you live with your tails between your legs. And for sure, by the passage of time, 20 years later, these guys are in charge. So, one, they are resilient. Two, no matter what you talk about them, they don't give up. And three, when they hold a belief, they hold it firmly. Ebyo ebintu bikulu nnyo. But also, from the speech of President Biden, nyina ekintu kye nawulidde, President Biden yagenze n'agamba nti no one in the world will expect us to fight their battles. Fight your battles. If you want our support, we'll lend you our support. But we shall never again interfere into the internal affairs and administration of countries. I think this is a big lesson for people to learn. And yes, we can have friends and allies, but our allies can only help us up to a certain extent. They are not going to fight each and every single battle for us. Let's talk about liberation of our country, politically and peacefully. There is no single person who is going to come from abroad or another country to help Ugandans liberate themselves. If they are all Ugandans that are oppressed, the onus is on those Ugandans to liberate themselves. Kenyans, Ethiopians, whatever it is. Now, the new world order is the one of non-interference. America has spent over $1 trillion on the war in the last 20 years. Training, reconstruction, intelligence, okuzimba ebyuma ebyokulwanisa. But tell you what, guess what? They have not achieved anything. It's like when they came in 2001. These guys knew they were weak by firepower, but they were strong in belief. They held their belief strong and marshaled on well. Coming back to the issue of refugees. Waliwo bannayuganda abaze mikwano gyange ne baga, oh, Nsereko, no. I can't block those people. Leave them to abuse. don't worry. Leave them to abuse because their sponsor is behind them. We know they run a group in which their sponsor tells them go to abuse. But for us, don't worry. Even in a class, because there are thousands of people listening. There are those that are not there to understand, that they are there. And let me tell you something about these bigots. People who are come or bane basanga abazanyi b'omupiira, they racially profile them or try to insult them. This is what the blacks face. And I've been talking to some of my friends, the black people outside there, that don't crave in. Nti olw'okuba omuntu akozeseza a racist comment or someone tries to insult you, there is no insult that big enough that is going to kill you. Just continue with your head facing in front. Do not turn your head. Because what they want you exactly to do is to cave in and give in to the bullies. So don't worry about the bullies. At least listen to my message. Now, those of you who are in my class, at least you can draw the difference. Going back to the subject matter, the issue of refugees. The issue of refugees, I know there were some of us who, when I posted that, it's very good gesture and it's in fact noble for Uganda to accept about 2,000 Afghan refugees. For those of you who watched the video yesterday of Afghan translators and those that had helped the allied troops in Afghanistan, who were trying to climb onto a plane to an extent that even some fell off. If you do not have the empathy that you would open up a gate for such a person to come to your home, then you should ask yourself why you go into another country and you expect to be welcomed. There are very many Ugandans of all walks of life, not now, from the 70s, that have gone to other countries to seek refuge. It should not be seen that even if we have differences in Uganda, that Ugandans stand up and say that they reject refugees. Whatever the case may be, we can have our own differences at home, but it is our responsibility as signatories to the Charter of the United Nations on protection of human rights, as members of the United Nations Human Rights Committee, who are actually at one time one of the permanent members of one of the members of the Security Council. I think Uganda as a country, regardless of our differences, we must walk the talk. And how do we walk the talk? By saying, yes, we have problems. You may have a problem in a home. Ntito ina wosuza abaana bo. Naye omuliro ne gukwata ewa neighbor. Then fire guts the house of your neighbor. What do? You automatically have to open up your house and first give these people at least shelter so that they run away from the burning house. And after all that is done, then you can find a way to resettle them. It is nothing bad for anyone to host refugees. I know very many Ugandans are in Europe, are in North America, are everywhere as refugees, and they have gone there to seek asylum for different reasons. And we should not demonize them for seeking asylum. Just like you want to be welcomed in those homes, no one wants to leave home. But when someone leaves home, there is a reason as to why they leave home. So I know there is a lot of frustration here and there. There might be a lot of, naysayers here and there. But for anyone who has ever sought asylum in another country, you know the process it takes. You know the trauma you're running away from. Of course, some of our other people are economic immigrants. That X, Y, and Z. But let me tell you one thing. Who knew that people in Libya would one time seek asylum in Uganda? So, war is not something everyone asks for. Persecution is not something everyone asks for. What distinguishes us as leaders? Omukulembeze obuulira abantu ekituufu, not necessarily what they want to hear. I know you might want to hear someone telling you, temukkiriza aba refugees. That is what maybe your ears want to hear. But the reality is what is right. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was persecuted in Mecca with his first converts. After heavy persecution, he sent out some of his people to seek refuge in Africa, in a country called Ethiopia that was formerly called Abyssinia. I think for Ugandans, you must understand that seeking refuge is one of the oldest things that has happened. For everyone being persecuted to run away to a place where they think they will be safe. The Prophet, after being persecuted in Mecca, he sought refuge and migrated to Medina, which later became the capital of Islamic administration. Now, it's because of the persecution that they had in Mecca that he had to move to Medina. Kyekyo lwaki ababaniriza mu Medina babayita ba Ansar. And bo migrating, they were called the Muhajirun. They did hijra. They immigrated. They sought refuge. And do you know what is most surprising? Who gave them refuge? They included Arab Christians. They included Jews of all kinds, because there were very many Jews in Medina. And the Jews gave Prophet Muhammad asylum. That is why in the world we must live and think about a coexistence. One person sent me a message and said, Honorable, lwaki tebagenze mu bawarabu bannaabo? Afghans are not Arabs. Some of our people even lack that simple knowledge, thinking that everyone who is Muslim is Arab. Actually, Afghan people have different tribes. Some are Pashtun, others that are closer to the border of China are partly half Chinese, but they are Afghans. Others that are near the border of Uzbekistan are Uzbeks and half Afghans. But all of us are citizens of the world. Tomorrow you don't know what reasons will make you a refugee or what reasons will make you seek asylum. None of you should be treated as a second-class person when you go to a country and seek asylum. Therefore, do not demean, do not despise, do not insult any single person that is coming to Uganda to seek asylum. Kubanga 10 days ago or 20 days ago, none of them wanted to even be in Uganda to seek asylum. Now, internationally, the image of Uganda is that Uganda is friendly and welcoming. Yes, but we also have the world responsibility to take care of people that are being persecuted from different areas. The responsibility starts with you. The way you want your brother and sister who has run to Europe, to Sweden, to Norway, to the United States of America, to France to be treated as an asylum seeker is the same way you should treat an Afghan member that is coming here. Bwe muwulira bannayuganda nga bagenze ebweru ne bagamba tusaba kigambo, all come up with all sorts of stories, but you must give them the benefit of doubt. That's why we discourage Ugandans who try to undermine any other person who is coming up with any effort of trying to get a better livelihood. Look at how many people die while crossing the Mediterranean from Africa just to get their way into Europe. Now, for me, that is important. That is vital. There are merits and demerits of having refugees, but the merits supersede the demerits. Yes, when many refugees come, now Uganda is hosting over 2 million refugees from Rwanda, Congo, Burundi, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and many other countries. But some of them have come with skills. Some of them have been beneficial to this economy. Those that came with their grandfathers, you may despise people, but look at the story of Mandela. Mandela's great-grandfather may probably not have been born in Uganda, but the grandfather was born in Uganda. How many people is Mandela and his products employing? Cafe Javas, you can see City Tires. Look at the products. You know, you can insult as many people, but slowly giving the people what we would call the Ugandan dream should be to assimilate, integrate people, make them part of society, make them respectful. The contributions that Mandela makes in the sports fraternity, in the Buganda government, in the government itself, is one of the biggest taxpayers. To the Muslim community, one of the biggest contributors, but to also this country as a country, with a streak of restaurants, with, you know, different factories. He's doing a food processing factory. These are some of the things that we want. Everyone should have that dream, that when they join Uganda, they can really be Ugandan and they can be respected for that. The same right you ask for when you join another country is the same right you should think about giving others. I know some might not understand it today. Others might not understand it tomorrow. But my role is to teach. My role is to give a lecture. Yes, I told you, there are some of those that sit in a clique and have been designed by part of their leadership to send out a message that you should go and insult others when they are passing out a message. No, we will not block you. We have agreed that we shall lecture you. Maybe when you sit back in your bedrooms, you realize that what we are talking about is much better. Look at one of the greatest thinkers, Einstein. Look at some of the greatest thinkers in the world. Were they Americans? They immigrated. They were refugees. They moved to America. They discovered what they call the American dream. They were integrated in society. And they are some of the greatest inventors. The former president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, the family was from Germany and Ireland. But he's one of the greatest entrepreneurs that America has had. He was a president. That is the dream that we should be talking about. I know we have political differences, and it doesn't matter. But sit down and look into your heart. Just like you feel happy. Nga muinayo muganda wa mwagenda ku kyeyo. Tukiita kyeyo kanzire mu Luganda. Abamu basala n'ente. Ng'omu ku baganda baabwe agaye nti ngenda ku kyeyo. Ne bamuwerekera ku airport ne bakuba n'eŋŋoma. Omwana waffe agenda bweru. Ne basebo ne bannyaba abazadde abali kuno. Nga tonnakaabira mu Afghani ayingira wano. N'omwana wammwe agenze ebweru olutuuka eri atuuka yeewaayo. Munnange mu Uganda bannoonya. Nga bazimba kisitole nga bwe babizimba. Munnange anti nze nali nkuba matafali kati bannoonya. Abalala bagamba nti simanya baali baagala kundya ewaffe gye tuva basezi. Mwe mwenna mubimanyi. Abali eyo ebweru mumanyi bisitole buli omu byawaayo. So, let me tell you one thing. The most important thing is treat others the way you want others to treat you. Omukongo bw'ajja wano si ye mubi ennyo kubanga mugendayo gye bali ne babatungira ebitengi. Bw'ogenda mu saloons, ba best hair stylists bava Congo. Best hair stylists for men and women ba Congo. Bw'ogenda bakubi ba gita bonna mu companies zino bonna abakubira abayimbi bammwe ennanga ba Congo. They immigrated. There are families that immigrated from Senegal. There are those that came from South Sudan. So, having 2,000 people is a very small number from what Uganda can handle. By the way, Uganda can even handle 10,000 people. First of all, bano abantu be bagambye nti bagenda kujja. They are going to be here for a temporary period for transitioning. Bagende mu United States of America. Gwovuma olwaleero bw'anaaba naturalized American citizen nawe n'omusanga mu magye ga America. Bw'onoomuwa impression nti bannayuganda babi oba mu poliisi ya America tomorrow. Imagine if you find that Afghan gwavuma enkya nga ye translator oba enkya nga naawe yakola ku asylum reception center mu United Kingdom. Wamuvuma aga nti abazze nti Muna Uganda. And remember, right now, ebintu byonna kwebiri. That's why now they open up social media accounts. You can no longer hide into fake accounts. Even if you hide into them, chemvamula banti kati embassy zikubuza what the moment you give them your social media account, boba kujja ye mabega. Nyina mukwano gwange agenda luli ku British High Commission. Naweerezaayo nti yali asaba visa. Ne bamugamba nti atuwe ku social media handle yo. Bagenda ogikeberako nga y'omu ku babadde bavumirira abantu abandifunye rights zaabwe. Ne bamugamba we are very sorry ekikumisiza visa kubanga ebintu by'obadde oyogera nga gw'omu akoolinga abantu okubeera kino na kino era tebaamuwa. era ne bamugamba nti obadde okolera mu akawunti eno naye ng'amannya g'amatuufu gwono. Because technology ebyamaze ddo biggulawo edda. Gwe ne bojjano ne weeyita John Bosco naye ng'amannya go gwe Lwaheru Paul, they will know you. Because everywhere buli IP address gy'oyina ku ssimu eri registered now. Kasito ogiteeka mu ssimu kaadi yo basi it's known. Or in your gadget. Bo bakusaasira busaasizi. Kyova olaba abantu baffe bagenda olw'okuba tebateekeddwa ne bababuuza nti wali okozeeko ku kino. Weetabako mu bikolwa, waliwo obubokisi abantu bwe bafiiringa nga bagenze ku American Embassy. Weetabako mu bikolwa eby'ekitujju, nti wawagirako ku bikolwa eby'ekitujju, wawagirako kino na kino agira ati nga bagagwe tuteerewo social media account yo, teekawo email. Those two weapons, otaddewo essimu yo, otaddewo email ne social media account ng'onoonya visa, as simple as that, they are going to know everything. Everything. So, njagadde okubaga nti ekisooka, when these people come away advantages zaabwe. If you got 2,000 Afghans that are coming into your country during this economic recession, and they are ready to house them in hotels in Uganda, because Baba Wadeba VIPs, whom they want to process within 1 month, Baba Twale to the United States after getting for them houses and other things. So, one, bagenda kubeera mu hotels zammwe. Abaana abakola mu hotels ezo bammwe. Emmere egenda okugulibwa yammwe. Omusolo ogugenda okuweebwa gwammwe. Gw'abanna Uganda. Kyekiri kyegamba nti look at the bigger picture. Angela Merkel bwe yali ayingiza 1 million refugees. Ne blanket refugee mark gye yakola to even accept bonna abayina backlog mu Germany. Yabagamba nti amongst these people bemulaba abave Syria mujja kugiramu ba doctors, mujja kugiramu ba pharmacists. Bwe mutaabawo empapula baricognizinga bajja kubeera mu black market. They will not contribute to the economy. Olwaleero abali balowooza nti Germany will collapse. Germany is still strong. So, bw'osangako omusiru ali mu class eno nga ye tayagala bwagazi kutegeera because ali mentally retarded, oyo gwe mwebalame. If Germany could admit 1 million, buli omu mu Europe yagamba wowe Germany will collapse. Nakati Germany yekwatiridde Europe eti. The best researchers be baafuna baava Syria. Abatabuzi b'eddagala, pharmacists, artisans, Abasiria babajja. Era clearly abantu ababadde mu kuzuula vaccine ya Pfizer. One of them is a Syrian young man. They are escaping a persecution. Be bazudde vaccine gye muwulireyo gye bayita Pfizer. Ali mu research. So, temubeeraawo nga muvuma omuntu nti muhajiruni yasenguse. Ne nabbi waffe yasengukako because of persecution. 2. Abatali basiraamu bannaffe mikwano gyaffe. Temutunuulira bantu bano nga babi. Si babi. Kubanga n'abaffe waliwo abava wano n'agenda Saudi Arabia mu nsi ey'abasiraamu ng'agenze kunoonyaayo ssente. Nga ye Rita, ye Aneti, ye Jacqueline. N'agenda Abu Dhabi nga ye Josefu akola omulimu. Bali tebamutunuulira nga mu Kristaayo. Obanga atalina ddiini. No. These are Islamic republics. But business is business. So, do not stereotype people from Afghanistan to try and make others think that, well, they are extremists, they are going to promote extremism. These are people nababadduka ekibambulira. So, njagadde ekyo nkibalage nti mwejjeemu endowooza eyo mulowooze broadly. Nga nammwe bwe mugenda mu bazungu n'olaba nga waliwo omuzungu akuboola because of your skin color, you feel very bad. Kuba akuzizza omwana we ng'amulaga nti ndowooza ono si muntu. Ne muzaala abaana abali mixed race ne baga laba oyo mu maleeto. mwabali Germany mukimanyi omuzungu abamu si bonna atunulira mulato ng'abula obutamwagala ng'agamba wakiri nfundako omuddugavu zigizigi. So abantu baffe abasinga mubayambe, because we have a problem of not seeking knowledge, but we have a problem of mental retardation. Kubanga si buli omu gw'olaba nti n'akwata essimu n'anyiga mapeesa nti ategeera. Abantu abamu they don't understand. Gwe n'olaba nga munnaffe economic immigrant mwe mulowooza nti ndowooza asylum is only thought by those fleeing political persecution. No, we have people, Africans in Dubai, mukimanyi bulungi nga 40% plus tebayina mpapula. Those are economic immigrants. But for as long as tokoze musango, no problem. Nenga nawo kyayagala okubeera mu nsi y'abanne Dubai n'omuwulira ng'agamba kale abo Abafagani bakimaki ewaffe. Gwe Katonda agenda kusaasira atya? Gwe atalina mutima musaasizi, gwe Katonda agenda kusaasira atya? 2, if you think you're superior than others because of your religion or your tribe, you're primitive. You're backward. Olino omuwulira ng'agamba fe ab'eddiini eno oba ffe ab'akabbira eno you're superior, you're dense. Singa ogenda mu ddwaliro ng'omusaayi gukugwako bakubuuza blood group oba tribe. They ask you for a blood group, not a tribe. So, my fellow Ugandans, I would like to tell you today and tonight that if you find anyone seeking refuge, please accept them. If we say we have 1 million Ugandans in the diaspora, 1 million Ugandans in the diaspora plus, 70% of those abagenda mu diaspora bagendayo kuki? To seek asylum. They were refugees. They were later naturalized. They were given skills. They were accepted in society. They were integrated in society. They were admitted in society. They are now part of the progression of those countries. And yes, we are proud that part of their remittances baziweereza okuddeeka. How many people, how many Ugandans are Ugandans expatriates nti bali ku work permit in those countries? They are very few. Ng'oggyeko bannyinaffe abali Saudi Arabia, Oman n'ewalala. N'abamu abali mu United Arab Emirates. The rest abagenda mu Europe, not all, n'abali mu North America, they went to seek asylum. Abali Canada. Some went after Obote, abalala bagenda even in the 70s, during Idi Amin's era. Maybe they didn't agree with government. The late Idi Amin Dada died as a refugee in Saudi Arabia. He was a refugee. Former presidents like Ibn Isa, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was, and the family were once sought refuge in Sweden and in Tanzania. But that's normal. Kati buli muntu yayita mweyo phase. Tayinza kuwulira nti omuntu bamutulugunya n'atagula wonsi. 2, you cannot hand over a refugee back to a country when someone has sought asylum. Omuntu singa ajja mu nsi yo n'agamba I have sought asylum. Please, you do not have the right to repatriate that person mu nsi eyo. Reason is very simple. Kubanga aba atya persecution. But that doesn't exonerate that person of crimes. But now that has happened in some countries. It is wrong. It is wrong. So, mikwano jange mirungi, nze I come to talk to you always. At times we can agree, at times we can disagree, but we remain friends. For me, that is what builds me. And I don't get angry with anyone. Sina gwenyigira. I've had people that formerly insulted me. Abamu bagamba kale kakati oyo no baganda no muleke yali tategeera kuba sinti buli omu aba ategeera at that real moment. And that is what brings compassion. That's what the world is calling for the Taliban? Want you revenge? Will you give amnesty? Will the women continue to freely work? So that's why Afghan women are fleeing. Because I won't be allowed to work. Tomorrow I have no job. Nasoma bwa engineer, nasoma chino. Gwa ino omwana omuwala wano olwaleero. Oyinza okugamba nti omuwala avudde Afghanistan n'abaana be maama tumugobe tumuzeeyo. Imagine people that have been translators for the troops of America and the allied troops, Britain, France, Australia and other contingent troops. Can you leave them there now? They will be persecuted, but they will behead them. Therefore, the best thing to do is first to give them safe haven. Evacuate them, give them safe haven, if they can be in Uganda or Qatar, as you process to take them to their final places of abode. After accepting their asylum, after screening them very